The Green Bay Packers top the Detroit Lions 42-21 in an NFC North matchup on Sunday, and the Packers are 2-0 to start the 2020 National Football League season. This is Game On Wisconsin's The Post Route. I'm Alex Strouf. I'm taking your calls and breaking down what we just saw for the next hour. Let's do it.
Is going to begin to take off and then fire, and it's caught. Touchdown, James Jones.
Rodgers with time down the sideline, has his man, Jordy Nelson. Nelson on his way.
Warning here in Arlington, over the middle, caught, touchdown, Greg Jennings.
Last time, now some pressure, throws it deep, Jordy Nelson.
Well, that's how we started. Good. Technical difficulties are always fun. We'll just roll right into it. It's a victory Sunday, the second week in a row. I'm Alex Strouf. That's producer Kyle. And this is Game On Wisconsin. This is the Post Rat. Phone lines wide open, 877-878-7683. Getting your reaction to a big Packers victory, the final 42-21 as Aaron Jones goes ballistic. We'll get to him in a second. Aaron Rodgers, another good day. Devontae Adams, a little bit of an injury. We'll get to that as well. A couple injuries really all over the National Football League this Sunday, unfortunately. So we'll go through all of those as well as take a bunch of your phone calls. Again, 877-878-7683 is the phone number to get through. Producer Kyle standing by, taking your calls. Producer Kyle, how are you?
I'm good. 2-0. I'm feeling good.
Feeling good like you should on a Sunday. Yeah, big Packers victory today. A weird start to that game again, like there was last week, where it didn't seem like the Packers were hitting on all cylinders on either side of the ball, and then all of a sudden it turns into what is now our final, 42-21.
Back-to-back 40 burgers after, hearing all offseason that the Packers offense, they needed a receiver. They didn't give Rodgers any weapons, all that crap. We heard it, we're the best offense in the NFL. Put in simple.
Wow. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I like the confidence.
Statistically speaking, through two games, the Packers have scored more points than any other team.
That's true.
However, the Chiefs have not played their second game yet.
Exactly. That was my next point.
But we're the best offense in the NFL through two games, and stats don't lie, as I like to say. So
stats don't lie. And Kyle is standing by to take your phone calls, 877-878-7683. Good to see you, producer Kyle. Good to be back with you on a Sunday, my friend. Let's dive right into this, shall we? A lot to unpack here, so let's not waste any time. And I'd be stupid if I didn't start with the running back, Aaron Jones, who's not just a running back. Played some wide receiver today, too. He had quite the game. He was the Packers' leading rusher and leading receiver, was Aaron Jones today. Aaron Jones, 18 carries, 168 yards, and 2 touchdowns with a long of 75 to open the second half as well. Through the air, Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers connect for 4 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown. Aaron Jones, look, we've talked a lot about the free agent class next summer. And some of those names no longer on the list, like Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, and Joe Mixon, big names that already got new deals. But there's still a lot of other names out there that are going to be competing in a very claustrophobic, if you will, running back market next summer. Kenyon Drake, Todd Gurley, Tevin Coleman, James White, Matt Breida, James Conner, Chris Carson, Phillip Lindsay, Aaron Jones, all without a deal going into next summer. And now Aaron Jones goes out week 2 of the NFL season and does what I just said, over 200 yards total, 3 touchdowns, including a 75-yard touchdown run to open the second half and really open up the floodgates, if you will, for Green Bay's offense. So Aaron Jones is walking into the locker room at Lambeau Field right now, acting a little bit like this. If we can find it. Here it is.
Tell them to bring me my money.
You can go ahead and bring Aaron Jones his money. That's what you can do. Bring him his money. There is absolutely no reason that the Green Bay Packers should not get a deal done ASAP. I'm talking tonight. Gutekunst should be grabbing the checkbook and writing in a pretty nice number. And I prioritize the Bakhtiari signing. Obviously, a good left tackle is much more valuable to the long-term success of the Green Bay Packers than signing a guy like Aaron Jones. But Jamal Williams, also a free agent after the season. It makes sense to see him walk, and you pair up Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, who we saw a little bit at the end of the game. Interested to hear your thoughts on Aaron Jones' game today. 877-878-7683. Greg Fresh 205 on Periscope says, pay that man money emojis. Oh, yeah, Greg. Oh, yeah, they have to at this point. They almost have to at this point. It makes doesn't make a ton of sense to me to not pay Aaron Jones as soon as you can. Because, look, it's a flooded market next year. Will Aaron Jones likely be the highest paid guy out of those names I listed off? And Kenyon Drake, Todd Gurley, James White, Matt Breida, James Conner, Chris Carson, Phillip Lindsay. You could probably make an argument that, yeah, Aaron Jones is going to make the most money of any of those names. And he deserves to. But if the Packers don't get a deal done, they're doing a disservice to everybody. Everybody. Just because this market's big and there's going to be money to be made for Aaron Jones, and as he will go out, Aaron Jones is so much more to the Packers offense than just a 3-down back. Aaron Jones is so much more to the Packers offense than that. He's not your traditional, okay, feed me the ball, I'm going to dominate you, which he will, but that's not all he has to do. We saw what he did in the receiving game today. He looked like freaking Odell Beckham Jr. You remember that catch that Odell made as a Giant a few years back? That's what Aaron Jones was showing us he's capable of today in the receiving game. I mean, seriously, what a great showing for Aaron Jones. A total of 236 yards and 3 touchdowns. How can't you pay that? Why wouldn't you? This is the Post Route presented by GameOnWisconsin.com. Game On Wisconsin, bringing you a ton of great Packers content. Only 2 months into the site, and they are kicking some butt. Greg Fresh 205 still chiming in. He reminds me of Westbrook from Philly. Brian Westbrook, the former Eagle running back. He made a Super Bowl appearance with the Eagles back in the day. Never got a ring, but that's an interesting comparison. Kind of that gritty, all down back, does it all for you. It's a fair comparison. I'm excited to see what Aaron Jones continues to do in green and gold, because we can flatten that argument today that Aaron Jones deserves a hefty paycheck, and I think he'll have one coming this season. I'd be shocked if the Packers let him even test out the waters in free agency. I'd be shocked. How do you watch a guy go up for 236 yards and 3 touchdowns and think, well, maybe we shouldn't give him his money? This doesn't take priority to the Bakhtiari contract. That will need to happen, but it needs to happen nonetheless. All right, Aaron Jones, big day today. 42-21 your final as the Packers top the Lions. Aaron Rodgers went 18 for 30, 240 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. One to Aaron Jones, as we mentioned. The other to Big Bob Tonyan. Who would have thought Bob Tonyan be getting in the end zone today, huh? Love to see that. Bob getting his first touchdown of the season. Good for Bob. And Marquez Valdes-Scantling, solid game again today. 3 catches, 64 yards. And the drops were there again, but not as bad. He probably could have, or should have, really, had a touchdown there in the second half. Should have Marquez Valdes-Scantling. But that hookup between him and Rodgers is just so natural. I mean, that is truly a phenomenal connection that those two have. Despite the drops, despite the missteps, despite the miscues that Marquez Valdes-Scantling might be having out the gates these first 2 weeks, him and Rodgers still look like they have a link like Rodgers and Jordy had back in the day. I mean, it is that strong. It is that great. He hit him for another, 41-yarder today? Rodgers and Valdes-Scantling hooked up for, I think it was 41 yards again today. And last week we were talking about the big plays that Rodgers and MVS hooked up on. And to go to that 41-yard catch for Marquez Valdes-Scantling there in the second half, he burned Jeffrey Okudah, who was the number 3 overall pick. Only in a second NFL game. I get that, Okudah, but he was struggling against Marquez Valdes-Scantling. So that's great to see. That's great to see for MVS. So that conversation of, who is the number 2 receiver continues to happen. It looks like it's Marquez Valdes-Scantling through 2 games, but frustrating, understandably so. MVS has been with his drops. But good to see where he's at. Good to see him and Rodgers getting after it the way they have been. And the Packers offense, man, they're gelling. Kyle mentioned it at the beginning. 2 40-point performances to open the season against divisional opponents. That's pretty freaking great. 2 40-point performances to open the season against divisional opponents. Heck yeah, man. You'll take that every day of the week. Ryan Bowman chiming in on the Periscope chat. Why didn't they draft a wide receiver? Well, Ryan, we've been asking ourselves that since April, haven't we? No, it's not necessary. And I've been saying that since April. I was with Ryan virtually the night of the draft. I was pumped when they drafted Jordan Love. I love that pick. And yeah, they didn't draft a wide receiver, but clearly they don't need one. And I'm not going to sit up here and tell you the Vikings and the Lions the last 2 weeks are teams that you're going to see in the divisional round of the playoffs, the championship round of the playoffs. They won't be there. They won't be. Green Bay has the expectation to. Green Bay should be. Green Bay looks like they absolutely should be through 2 weeks. Producer Kyle said that too. Highest scoring team in the NFL through 2 weeks. We're waiting on Kansas City, but Green Bay is there nonetheless. Phone lines wide open, 877-878-7683. Give me a call. Let's break this down together. What's on your mind from the Packers' 42-21 win over the Detroit Lions? You want to talk about the backfield? You want to talk about the wideouts? You want to talk about Aaron Jones' big day? You want to talk about Rashawn Gary? He looked good again this week. Forced it into a pick 6. Love that pick 6, by the way. That was a big reaction out of me for that one. And Game On Wisconsin's Twitter, Aaron, who runs our social media, tweeted, "This seems like pick 6 territory." And 12 seconds later, casually, just strolling in for a pick 6. So that was quite the call from Aaron. Chandon Sullivan, who was having kind of a rough first half, got that pick 6. He made all right with that pick 6. 42-21. That's a blowout in week number 2 of the National Football League. Let's go around the NFL, shall we? We shall. Let's go around the NFL. Well, injuries are aplenty. Saquon Barkley looks like a torn ACL. That is not confirmed, but definitely not good. Jimmy Garoppolo tweaked his ankle for the San Francisco 49ers. Raheem Mostert, their running back, after just casually running an 80-yard touchdown to the house, he got hurt as well. Nick Bosa, not looking good for him. That is a torn ACL. That's confirmed. Nick Bosa's season is over for the reigning NFC champions in the San Francisco 49ers. And look, while they got a 31-13 win today to make them back to 500, 1-1 on the year, San Francisco, they don't look like the Super Bowl team from a year ago. And it's going to be hard to be that Super Bowl team from a year ago without a guy like Nick Bosa. And once we find out the length of injuries for Raheem Mostert and Jimmy G, it's hard to be a Super Bowl team without your franchise quarterback and your RB1 who went bananas in the NFC Championship game last year. So San Francisco did something. I read this. Somebody said that San Francisco pissed off the football gods. Yes, they did. Yes, they did, apparently, because what do you do? And the injuries, as I said, aplenty. Cam Akers, rookie running back for the LA Rams, was injured in their week 2, but they are 2-0, 37-19 after beating the Cowboys a week ago. They beat the Eagles this week. The Rams are 2-0 in that competitive NFC West. We get the Seahawks tonight. And the Cardinals are up 7-0 on the Washington football team as it stands. But other finals from today, the Steelers top the Broncos 26-21. Big Ben, another really solid day. 29 for 41, 311, and 2 touchdowns. James Conner, a guy on the list of free agent running backs next year. He had a nice day. It was himself, 16 carries, 106 yards, and a touchdown for James Conner and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Bears are 2-0. Who would have expected that? It wasn't me. I can tell you that much. They topped the New York Football Giants today as they just put up 17. Giants put up 13. Pretty low scoring. Nothing too crazy. The Bears did not score a point in the second half. They were up 17-0 at halftime. The Giants were able to tack on 13 throughout the course of the second half, but it just was not enough as the Bears walk away unscathed. They are 2-0, tied atop the division with Green Bay after that one. Elsewhere in the division, the Minnesota Vikings fall short today. And if you were watching the pre-snap earlier today with myself, Jacob Westendorf, and Jimmy Christensen, well, you know, I picked Minnesota to be my lock this week. I thought they had an easy one over Indianapolis, and no, not so much. The Vikings are 0-2. They lose 28-11 to Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts. I did not see that one coming. Phil Rivers, 19 of 25, 214 yards, a touchdown. Wisconsin guy, Jonathan Taylor, 26 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown for Indianapolis. 28-11. Is that scoregami, Kyle? Do you know? It might be scoregami. I'm not sure. What are your reactions? What do you think of Aaron Jones' big day for the Packers as they get a win? 877-878-7683 is the number. Producer Kyle is standing by, taking your calls, screening your calls, making sure you guys aren't going to say anything mean to me and all the in-betweens. That's what producer Kyle's taking care of right now. In Green Bay, I'm Alex Strouf. You can find me on Twitter at Alex_Strouf. A lot on the agenda for me yet today. Matt Ramage, who joined us last week, is going to be doing a stream himself. If you're a fan of Matt Ramage, both producer Kyle and I will both be on there. So stop by for that next hour. Sports Map Radio, I'll be on there at 6:40 Lambeau time, breaking down the Packers win today, which I'm doing with all of you right now. So appreciate you kicking it with me. And we've got a voicemail, so I'm gonna try to do that. But I'm interested to take your comments. Jennifer said it's okay. Jacob's upset pick didn't happen. Yeah, I don't know if mine will either. We'll see. It's getting played right now. I took the Texans over the Ravens as my upset of the week. My lock didn't work. Let's hope my upset does. I'm 0 for 2 on locks this year. Isn't that incredible? How bad can you be? I'm 0 for 2 on locks. Those are supposed to be the easy ones. What's wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Oh, man. Aaron Rodgers again. Good day for him. No picks again. 2 touchdowns through the air, 1 to Bob Tonyan, 1 to Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, I mean, the guy's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous is Aaron Jones. I mean, how do you have a better day than that? What was it? What was the final for him? 236 yards and 3 touchdowns? Yeah, Kyle, show us what Aaron Jones will be saying in the locker room after the game today.
Tell him to bring me my money.
Yeah. Bring me my money. And you have to for Aaron Jones. I can't justify not paying the guy. I can't justify it anymore. And I've been trying to. Producer Kyle's been with me for the last 4 months. And producer Kyle's heard me say plenty of times, you should probably let Aaron Jones walk. I'm reversing course on this. Taking it back. I think you got to pay Aaron Jones now. It doesn't make sense not to pay Aaron Jones. And I imagine it's going to be a pretty payday. I think it gets done this week. I don't think it gets done. I mean, if it doesn't get done this week, I'd be shocked. Maybe next week. It's getting done before we're halfway through the season. Kyle, jump in here. Talk to me.
I was with you. He's a running back. easily replaceable. They drafted AJ Dillon, who by the way also looked fantastic today. He got in some late work.
Yeah.
Got to pay him. Got to pay Aaron Jones. Because he's more than a running back. And I was wrong on that. You were wrong on that. A lot of people are going to be wrong on that.
Yeah.
The dude's more than a running back. He's clearly, based off of today's stats, I mean, he was the leading receiver on top of being the leading rusher. Was in on a couple pass block plays.
Yep.
His pass protection's improved significantly over the last, 4 years he's been in the league. 3 years, maybe. 3 years.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, how remember when Jimmy Graham, when he was with the Saints, the whole franchise tag thing, you wanted to be listed as a receiver, not a tight end. Well, Aaron Jones is more than a running back.
Yeah. Yeah, he's looking like David Johnson a few years ago when he won AP Wide Receiver of the Year. Aaron Jones really showed his versatility today. And you mentioned the pass blocking improvement for Jones. We saw it beautifully displayed on that 41-yard pass to Marquez Valdes-Scantling as he tight-roped the sideline for 41. Aaron Jones did a great pass block there. He picked up protection, and Rodgers was able to let it fly to MVS down the sideline. So you're absolutely head on. And, we mentioned the catches. He literally was doing a Odell Beckham Jr. impression. Maybe David Tyree on that catch midfield. He just went up and got it, man. He looked like Odell. And it's just impressive what this guy can do. And we've talked all offseason, Kyle, about what do you do with Aaron Jones? How do you justify paying Aaron Jones? Now, I think the justification is week 2, what he did at Lambeau Field against the Detroit Lions when there was no fans there. I mean, seriously, the guy just had an absolute field day. Field day, Kyle. Field day. Looked ridiculous. Good. I want
to bring up a tweet for Matt Schneidman. I had it up and then it disappeared on me. Aaron Jones was one of the players in the post-game press conferences today, and he was asked by, I'm not sure by who, it doesn't say. He was asked if he thinks he deserves a contract extension similar to those of Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara, and his response, I think I'm close to the same caliber player as those guys.
Wow.
I think he's a little closer than what he might think. I think he's being a little humble there, in my personal opinion.
Why do you think he's being humble?
Well, because I think he says he's close. I think he's on par with those kind of guys like Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara. I don't think he's close to them anymore. He started to prove it last year, and he's proving it again this year that he's on par with those, elite running backs. Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara, 2 guys who just obviously got extensions over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, simply as this, quote, Jonesy, he's such a game breaker, says Aaron Rodgers about his running back who finished with 236 and 3 touchdowns today. The glasses were still at it, man. The glasses were there for Aaron Jones, the same ones he pulled out last week. He had them on the sidelines again today and in his press conferences. I mean, the dude just looks like a certified grade A badass with those on, Kyle.
Yeah, Miami has the turnover chain, but we got the touchdown shades here in Green Bay. So there you go.
We got cheese and Lombardi's as well, buddy.
I'd take that anyways.
And Aaron Jones quoted it saying he feels invincible in those sunglasses, which how can't you? I mean, he looks like a legitimate character. He
should. I hope next week he comes out with a sunglasses shaded visor. Because I don't believe he has a visor right now. Pull out the old LT. I don't know if you're actually allowed to do that anymore in the NFL, but you know what I'm saying.
I just think he looks like a Mortal Kombat character in this.
Well, yeah,
Aaron Rodgers again was drinking the purple hydration liquid, which
by the way, was confirmed. It is in fact Pedialyte. So there you go.
That was confirmed on the Pat McAfee show. So there you go. Yes, he was back on that. Was Aaron Rodgers as the Packers win that one 42-21. I didn't complete our trip around the NFL, so I'm going to try to do that quickly. The Titans topped the Jags. Real close one, 33-30. The Titans are 2-0. Stephen Gostkowski rebounded from Monday night. Monday night was rough for Stephen Gostkowski. But Sunday afternoon, a little bit nicer. Gardner Minshew had a day, son. 339 yards and 3 touchdowns for Gardner Minshew. In the loss. The Jags now 1-1. The Titans 2-0. They stand alone in first place of the AFC South. And the Buccaneers got their first win of the season. They topped the Panthers 31-17. Teddy Bridgewater had a really nice game in the loss. Tom Brady, though, just a little bit better as Tom Brady gets his first win as a Buck, 23 for 35, 217 yards, a touchdown, and an interception for Bridgewater, 367 yards on 33 completions and 42 attempts. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and Teddy Bridgewater was sacked 5 times. Christian McCaffrey was injured and knocked out of this one. He's okay. It sounds like it's not too serious, but no confirmation on that yet. On the remaining on the Carolina side, DJ Moore, 8 catches, 120 yards for DJ Moore. Mike Evans, 7 catches, 104 yards, and a touchdown for the Bucs in their win.
I got to come back on for a second.
Yeah, Dallas just won that football game, didn't they?
You talk about last week, and I know you brought up the win percentages for how bad the Lions lost. Atlanta had a 99.9% chance of winning against Dallas today, and they lost.
Kyle,
99%. I'm not messing with you. They had a 90. Oh my gosh.
So Atlanta had a 99.
That's according to ESPN. Yeah, ESPN
win probability. Okay.
Had a 99.9% chance of winning with 2 minutes and 52 seconds to go in the game.
What is
and they
with
lost.
the Falcons and blowing games? 28-3 in the Super Bowl. Wow. That is the final. Dallas wins that football game. Unbelievable. I had it on next to me. I was not watching the end. 40-39 in the final. What happened? What changed?
I didn't have it on either. I wish I did. I'll have to go back and watch it. But
Mike McCarthy gets his first win as the Cowboys head coach and a come-from-behind win where he had a 0.1% win probability. He flips that. He adds a couple zeros on the end of that 0.1. 100%, 40-39 as McCarthy and the Cowboys get a W.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
I got to give it to Dak Prescott. I mean, the dude single-handedly kept me in the money for my daily fantasy. So very appreciative of Dak Prescott's 39.8 fantasy points on FanDuel today. So thank you,
You're
Mr.
a degenerate
Prescott.
Gambler. You are a degenerate gambler. Jay Sternberger, Kyle. He had some catching issues today. Wow, I can't speak. There we go. Jay Sternberger let a couple slip away. You concerned?
Yes and no. I'll explain.
Please.
Obviously, you'd probably want me to explain anyways. I say yes because, we don't really have anybody else. I mean, I know we had Bob Tonyan and he scored a touchdown today. You're not going to get that from him every week. Jay Sternberger, coming into camp was looking like the guy who was going to take over as tight end 1 as Jimmy Graham left last year. And he spent a pretty high priority draft pick on him. I believe he was a 3rd-round pick.
Yep.
Yeah, that's concerning. However, you look at a guy like Devontae. I'm not comparing Jay Sternberger to Devontae Adams at all. But, Devontae Adams had a really bad 2015 with drops. And obviously he's come back and now is arguably the best wide receiver in the league. It's 2 games in to a season. I don't want to overreact, but it is definitely something to watch out for going forward.
It's fine. I'll overreact. Look,
well,
the tight end issues have been an ongoing battle for the last 2-3 seasons, right? I mean, we've constantly struggled as Packers fans to really come to the realization that we don't have a good tight end. We just don't. And we try so hard to pump up the next guy, right? We want the next guy. Jay Sternberger's been that. He's not ready to be the guy. He's not. And, as much as I want him to be, as much as I want him to be this great tight end that we haven't had in years and years and years, we haven't had a real, damn, that's a good tight end since Jermichael Finley. So I want Jay Sternberger to be that guy, but he's not ready to be that guy. Is Bob Tonyan ready to be that guy? Maybe. He had a touchdown today. He looks solid, but I don't think he is the caliber of player to be that guy. Mercedes Lewis, he's like triple my age. He's like 65 years old at this point.
He's 39. No, actually, no.
Is he that old?
No, I don't think he's that old.
Whatever. He's like 65 at this point. He's not going to be the guy.
He's 36.
He's 36. Thank you, Kyle.
There
The
we
Packers don't have a tight end on their roster that's going to be the guy, and it sure as hell doesn't look like it's going to be Jay Sternberger after today's performance. 2 drops, neither of them were good, acceptable, whatever. We talked about drops last week with MVS. I said
drops have been a concern team wide. Aaron Jones had a couple drops today. Jay Sternberger and MVS you mentioned. Drops are an issue. I at one point, I don't know if this was the final tally, but at one point the Brewers had 6 drops. Can't allow it.
Did you say the Brewers?
I might have said the Brewers. I got a little score on my phone now. I meant the Packers, obviously.
Yes. One other note on tight ends while I'm going on my little rant here. Josiah DeGuara chimed in on the comments.
Josiah DeGuara chimed in on the comments. I think you mean Jacob Wessendorf chimed in on the comments.
But he said Josiah DeGuara, it was brought up. His name was brought up, as I said. They don't have a tight end on the roster. He's not going to be the guy this year, Josiah DeGuara. He's just not ready. But to quote Matt LaFleur, of course, yes, I love Josiah. And it looks like producer Kyle deleted that video from my overlays. So I love Josiah.
I apologize. Sorry.
It's okay, man. No worries.
You need a little spring cleaning over here.
Going to publicly call you out. It's fine.
That's okay.
877-878-7683. That's the phone number. That's producer Kyle. I'm Alex Strouf. We'll leave them open until the top of the hour. So about 10 minutes to get your phone call in. Would love to hear what you think of Aaron Jones' big day. What'd you think of the defense?
It was better. It was better.
It was better, but I'm still concerned. Was not a good start. They looked slow. And then they picked it up in quarters 2 and 3. Didn't allow a point in quarters 2 and 3.
The first quarter, you could tell that this team desperately needs Kenny Clark on the field. Clearly. I mean, he is the one guy who I can trust to stop the run on this Packers defense. The team needs Kenny Clark to play. And luckily you're playing a Lions team that doesn't really have a good run game. But when you have New Orleans coming up, you have, the Titans later in the season. You have the Panthers later in the season. You're facing some really good rushing offenses. You're going to face Dalvin Cook again at the end of October. This team needs Kenny Clark to play, plain and simple. And he deserves every single penny and then some of what he got to in his contract.
No, you're absolutely correct. I'm with you 100%. Kenny Clark, obviously out today. Yeah, and he was missed. You're spot on. And Tyler Lancaster, who went down today, I think he was okay. I didn't see.
I believe he came back in at one point.
I think so too. Yeah, but he's no Kenny Clark. Tyler Lancaster ain't no damn Kenny Clark, and it's showing.
And I want to believe in Kingsley Keke as much as anybody else, but I have yet to see anything spectacular from Kingsley Keke. Montravius Adams, I think we can, start to write the book on him as well. I haven't seen anything that impresses me from anybody outside of Kenny Clark in the last 3 years on the Packers D-line.
Yeah, that's fair, 100%.
And Mike Daniels is in Cincinnati, so can't bring Mike Daniels back either.
Too,
and he's hurt, so.
Yeah, he's hurt.
There you go.
Geno Atkins that's why Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt had a freaking field day on Thursday night. Geno Atkins and Mike Daniels, both their defensive tackles, out on Thursday for the Bengals, who are not a good football team still, but Joe Burrow's sure fun to watch.
Yeah, that was fun.
Some things change, some things stay the same, and Joe Burrow still very fun to watch, although he is 0-2 in his NFL career.
Yeah, and I think it was nice to see a pick six today from Chandon Sullivan. Started off with a really bad game, made it up with the pick six, and then had a couple good plays on defense as well. First Packers defensive touchdown since Bashaud Breeland against Atlanta in 2018. So
wow,
there you go. There's a stat from the top of my head. Actually, I got that from Twitter, so it wasn't even my own stat.
Wow,
yeah.
It's been that long.
Yeah, I would have thought. I guess I couldn't really think of one off the top of my head that they had last year.
Yeah.
Bashaud Breeland was the last defensive player for the Packers to score a touchdown. So there's some trivia.
There we go. Yeah. No, now it's not trivia because now it's Chandon Sullivan, who, up and down game for him. Not such a good first half. The pick six obviously recovered, but overall not a great day for Chandon Sullivan outside of that bright moment or maybe one more. So we'll see. The defense, not a huge concern to me overall. I didn't like the beginning, but it seemed like they got comfortable come quarter two, and they were able to pick it up. And look, Detroit's not going to throw every wrench at you of teams you're going to see. You've got New Orleans next week on Sunday Night Football, and that's going to be, not only is that going to be one hell of a football game, but that's going to be one hell of a challenge. It's a different speed, that's a different pace, that's a different team in comparison with Detroit and Minnesota. This is a step up. It's that competition I was alluding to earlier when I was talking about teams that will be in the NFC Championship game or the divisional round. New Orleans is a team that I can almost guarantee you will be there, one or the other. So next week, it's a big game for Green Bay, but they're off to a 2-0 start, and they've got another 7 days to figure out how they can match up with Drew Brees and company. But a good win today. I'm more happy this week than I was last week, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. You let a team like Minnesota hang around, and to quote Matt LaFleur, it was all gas, no effing break today. They gave up 21, but the part that really sealed the game, the Lions give up 31 unanswered points. So that was huge for Green Bay, obviously. Between the second and third quarters, you gave up 31 straight. You're not going to win any football games like that. We talked about this very briefly on Pulse of the Pack yesterday. We had Logan. I'm not going to get his last name right
Sports
at all.
Illustrated guy, yeah,
from Sports Illustrated. Lions writer for Sports Illustrated, and we were talking about Matt Patricia. What's going to happen with him? The Lions have not looked good at all under Matt Patricia. Since they fired Jim Caldwell, who had a 9-7 season, the Lions have now gone 9-29-1 under Matt Patricia. So could be out.
I wouldn't doubt it. Obviously not an ideal start the first 2 weeks. Last week especially was just, that was a meltdown. That was Atlanta style meltdown last week for Detroit against Chicago. And then this one, obviously the Packers are a much better team than Detroit. We knew this going in, but still not a pretty game. You allowed 42 points against a division rival. So that is not a good look for Matt Patricia. I'd imagine this is his final season. I'm with you, Kyle. A lot of talk about that, especially when you get down in such a blowout like that, and it's mid-third quarter and the game's over already. Those are not good looks for a head coach, especially one like Matt Patricia. I imagine he will not be the head coach of the Detroit Lions next season.
Yeah, and I think it just proves once again for some reason that everybody to leave the Belichick coaching tree just isn't able to be a good head coach on their own. So good thing we didn't sign Josh McDaniels. I know that was a huge.
That was a big name. You're absolutely right. Yeah. They don't succeed without Belichick. It's funny how that works, isn't it? Another quick note from one of the afternoon games that's happening right now. Tyrod Taylor suffered a chest injury during pregame warm-up. So Justin Herbert gets his first career start today for the LA Chargers. So something to keep an eye on there on the West Coast. Joe Burrow has been the only rookie quarterback to start a game this year, and now Justin Herbert has joined him for the LA Chargers.
Well, that is until the Packers are 15-0. In week 17, we decided to start Jordan Love.
Not
week
Tim Boyle,
17.
huh?
I love Tim Boyle. I love him so much. Tim Boyle Laser Show. But when the Packers are 15-0 and playing Chicago, I think you need to get Jordan Love some time playing.
Well, they're off to a good start. The Packers are 2-0 after a 42-21 win over the Detroit Lions today. Got to be happy with that. Appreciate you all participating, hanging out, and chiming in as we do this each week after the Packers' victories. Also, we'll do it after losses as well. Next week's going to be a late one. We're going to do it at like 11 p.m. I'm excited. That's more.
I'll be there for that. So
yeah, I'll see you there, Kyle.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all hanging out. He's at K Hoffenbecker on Twitter. I'm at Alex_Strouf. And we are at Game On WI. A lot more coming. The Game On Wisconsin Roundtable happening in about 3.5 hours. Across all our socials. Where you're seeing me right now is where you can see the roundtable for some more digested discussion featuring founder Jacob Westendorf. That is producer Kyle. I'm Alex Strouf. That'll do it for us. And I don't even have my song ready.
Well, I will say one more thing before we head out.
go
Is each of us will be on a live stream with Matt Ramage here in about a half hour. Actually, you'll be on at 5. I'll be on at 4:30. So anyone following Matt Ramage knows what he does. Very, charismatic individual, to say the least.
He's a good man.
We'll both be on there. So if you want to look at my pretty face or look at Alex's pretty face for a little more. I know, Jacob, you're not a fan of looking at my face. Actually, let me pull up your comment here.
Yeah, he made that.
Can we keep Kyle off the screen? Well, sorry, I'm the producer. I control the show, Jacob. Sorry.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. just a little flex to end the show for producer Kyle. That will do it for us here on the Post Run. Appreciate you stopping by.